Roger, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a video from the YouTube channel, the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. Now, this is about the Chosen Company, which I know a lot of y'all have recommended their specific videos to me. There are a few older videos that I haven't checked out yet that I might still check out because I know a lot of y'all were wanting me to check it out. But this one is titled The Chosen Company Violence of Action. So this was uploaded mid-October. And it looks like it's very, very popular, and a lot of y'all have already recommended it to me. So I figured I would check this one out just because it seems like it's a little bit more recent. But this is about them conducting operations in Pervo. So I guess the operation was known as Shovel, which is kind of like a big counter offensive by the Chosen Company. So I'm really excited to check this one out. It's about an hour long, so I'll probably end up breaking it into two parts, and I'll just upload it one day after the other. But I know you guys want me to check out the Chosen Company. It seems like they're doing some pretty insane work. And again, for like an international legion, that just goes to show kind of what this unit is going to be comprised of as far as these foreign volunteers going and volunteering to fight for Ukraine. So with that alone, I kind of already understand the mindset of the fighters that we're going to see in here. But it should be interesting. Again, I'll try not to pause it too much because it is a longer video, but I know you guys want me to check this out. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, pretty solid disclaimer there.
I've got a broken leg, you don't realize. No, I'm good to go.
Dude, what? Right off the bat, this dude just charging through, having a broken leg.
Out, do you have eyes on Charlie? Out, do you have eyes on Charlie?
That's not. How many we got injured? How many got on the table?
Like when
So
I
much
first got to
going
the
on.
unit, that first night, getting woken up 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, I don't remember, but some of the guys that were on the op started, they came into our bunkers and that's when they started filling us in, talking about how they got fucked up, that it was, the operation had basically become chaos. We found out that
That's a
out
shitty
of
way to
the
wake
40
up.
plus guys that went out, they had like 26 casualties with 2 KIA. And
Golly.
so right then and there, within my first 72 hours of being in the unit, it was kind of
Yeah, it gets real
a stark
immediately,
reality check. That this is what we're fighting.
I noticed he had South Korea and then also like a U.S. South Korea patch, I think. I wonder what his background is. I wonder what a lot of their backgrounds are, to be honest, as far as like military experience or otherwise. Okay. Violence of action. So yeah, speed, surprise, violence of action. They kind of mentioned that in the description for this too.
Op Shovel. This is our third mission attacking a trench. This is like what what we trained for the most and what we're, I guess, most comfortable with. It's the nickname we gave it because on the drone footage there was a shovel on top of the bunker there, so we gave it a name everyone could recognize.
Well, originally we were
Interesting,
supposed to
okay.
attack the PKM position. I said, fuck that, let's hit them. The whole blow past the uterus joke. I asked Kozak.
Is that a St. Javelin
Kozak said we were
shirt?
crazy, but is it possible? I was like, yeah, we can do it. Our whole goal there was to cut off like a 8 or 12 man Russian position and then kill everyone behind them or capture them. And basically the Ukrainians would then push a like 6-man team forward and hopefully get the guys to surrender. Because like the guys in this position were like contract soldiers. They weren't Storm Z. They were experienced guys that, they wanted captured.
Nice. Okay.
About a week prior to when we were
Get some
actually
good intel from that,
expected to
too.
conduct the assault, we did 2 route reconnaissance, and we went out there to essentially assess the route, make a
Dude, route reconnaissance, like in any sense that I've done it, was relatively simple. And a lot of times you kind of just end up taking like the crappiest route. unless you're trying to see like a specific area that you're trying to move like a whole company through or what have you. But generally speaking, like you kind of have a certain method to the madness. But in Ukraine, the terrain is very, not permissive for a lot of these things, especially when you're talking about the landmines or just having these kind of like open areas or these trench systems that can be like pretty well camouflaged until you walk up on them.
Determination on, if the passage was going to be feasible for the Humvees, just because some of the pathways were severely deteriorated from falling down trees, craters, and various other obstacles.
Yeah,
So
not
we
to
had
mention
go
all
out
the
there
indirect fire, just
and do the
peppering
assessment,
the ground.
and then also kind of get eyes on the objective. And because of my experience in the Army with driving Humvees,
Okay.
I figured that even though it sucks
So U.S.
being
Army, I would
the
assume?
driver and kind of having a limited participation in the assault, it got me on the mission, and that's what I wanted.
So basically, we were going to hop in Humvees,
Being a driver sounds
drive
stressful,
past the
dude.
zero line to hit a secondary line, and hopefully the Humvees would drive back out.
Yeah, minimal time with the Humvees because the Humvees would immediately draw fire and draw attention, which works for the infill because now like the Humvees are armored. So once we get out, like people are just going to shoot at the biggest thing out there, which is the Humvees.
Hopefully
So
they
that's
don't have
fun,
RPGs.
It's like, so like those would take up fire, and with the speed and aggression, and with us leapfrogging, nobody expects that because they always expect the frontmost position to get hit. With us just going right to the rear, like those guys, like they weren't
threw them
ready.
off. They didn't. Yeah, the Russians didn't have a clue what the hell was going on.
Like, whoa,
The
they're
plan
sending
was
it all
because
the
it
way
was
to
a-
the back of the formation.
It was like a right angle shaped trench. The plan was to do like a pincer movement and sort of like meet up in the middle, kind of.
Shovel being on the corner,
So it
it was
sounds
like
like we
an
got-
L-shaped trench. And then
A lot already. Since we got like an American, Canadian, sounds like an Aussie, and then also a British dude so far. And then maybe that dude might be from South Korea. I'm not really too sure. His English sounds pretty American.
the Russians, their forward position,
English sounds
105,
pretty American.
was approximately 50, 60 meters west of Shovel and was shaped largely like a Y or a T. And that was their fighting position. And we believe Shovel was their,
Golly, trench litter is insane.
their rest area.
The idea was crazy, but
Okay.
like implementing it, like doing
Shovel.
the planning preparation and then training for it, we actually went and found a trench that was similar in size and scope that we could train on. Because on this one, because what we
Nice.
were doing was, I
That's
guess,
huge.
sketchy, I guess you want to put it. We were going to actually assault the trench from two directions because there was like 20 some Russians in the fucking thing. So it was basically, we were going to pincher them so that we'd funnel them all into one area and then you could just throw grenades at them all day until they're all dead. Initially, the 59th, our commander Kozak, got drone footage. We looked at it like for a day or two.
Yeah,
And then we
nice.
found out there was a bunch of anti-tank mines.
Oh, shit.
So
Oh, no
Kozak
kidding.
went to the 59th Brigade, like the engineering guys, and they had the Mclick.
Nice.
We got the mines all taken out for the anti.
Dude, the Mclick. I didn't even know. I heard that they had him in Ukraine, but I haven't like seen him operated. The Mclick is awesome. Seeing that thing like work in real life was insane. I mean, it's just like it shoots a rocket with like basically a bunch of grenades attached to this, rope kind of cord behind it, and then it just blows up. So it just clears like a giant lane. It's really, really cool to watch. Yeah, that's awesome that they're able to get that kind of support from the engineers.
Tank.
Most.
Most, yeah. Well, we thought we hit them all.
And so we looked at ways of how can we sufficiently pack enough dudes on the Humvees that we had to conduct this operation. I pitched the idea, like, what if we just took the back hatches off?
He's just sitting on some
And-
random car.
Stuck guys in the back. You could take the hatches off there. It's pretty easy. You just gotta do some unbolting and then, pretty much just lift them. And we kind of evaluated it.
Really?
And eventually, that's what we decided to do.
So the problem we
Just
were running
sitting
into
in
is
the
we didn't
back?
have enough room in the Humvees. So we got the bright idea to pull the hatches off the back of the Humvee. I mean, the Ukrainians were like, you guys are stupid, but predominantly because you're have an armored vehicle that you're now putting people in an unarmored spot. But like I didn't think we were going to be able to do it with 8 guys or 10 guys. So we needed to get, more guys in the trucks. It was the only thing that we could do. They offered if we wanted
a
like
very
an open top
interesting
Humvee, like some of our
risk
videos you'll see us
calculation.
assaulting with like a 2-door Humvee that's completely open. We turned that idea down just because we thought we were going to get smashed on the way in. Because like you're bypassing a Russian position, so all they have to do is turn and spray an open top Humvee and you're fucked.
For
Yeah,
this
fuck
operation, we
that.
worked with the Ukrainians. They had an assault team as well. And the idea for this operation was, so there were 5 Humvees. Chosen Company was in the first 3. And the Ukrainians were in the last 2. The plan was to
Damn,
drop
5
off
Humvees, okay.
at both positions simultaneously. I was in the 3rd Humvee, like 3 assault teams. 2 assault teams, but split up into 3 Humvees. So the idea was
Golly.
the Ukrainians would stop at
Rolling
their
deep with the
position, and we would
Humvees,
stop
but
at shovel
still.
at the same time and dismount and attack both positions. This would make sure that the Russians in 105 couldn't fire at us while we attack, and that the
Nice.
Russians couldn't fire at the Ukrainians as they attacked. So we had them both occupied at the same time.
When we finally
Dude,
got,
I really wonder what it sounds like the Ukrainians were kind of giving them some shit for like what, they were proposing as far as taking the hatch off and stuff. But I wonder what they were thinking, just seeing like these 3 Humvees leading up front, kind of just blowing to the back of the Russian formation. I mean, it's definitely, you kind of have to calculate some of the risk and see if it's kind of worth it. But having 2 more guys for sure is pretty crucial, especially when you're trying to get a foothold in the rear of their formation.
the call that, mission was a go.
There's so many things that can go wrong, though, especially with the
was-
landmines.
We had a couple things that we had to do in terms of, final preparations, staging points. And I remember we got to the very last staging point, got into the wood line, concealed the trucks, and got into the trenches that were there with the Ukrainians. And it was almost like a heartwarming moment because the Ukrainians that were occupying that trench, they had some potatoes and they cut them up and
Actual
made, like, some
potatoes. I
homemade
don't know. I was
fries
thinking.
for us. And so here we were just hours before we were about to conduct the assault, and it was like the Last Supper,
I was thinking in like the
hosted
smack
by,
talking way.
our friendly Ukrainians.
The
Nice.
mood for
Hey, some
the
potatoes in a
shovel
trench sounds
off
like a
was
vibe.
generally quite good. People were just really psyched because we had actual drone footage of like Russians in this actual fortified trench that we were going to assault. With Pervo 2, it was more a series of
Nice G-Shock.
assaults that needed to be conducted over like a larger amount of ground, and there wasn't Russians in all of these positions, or we hadn't seen Russians in all of the positions. Whereas Shovel was more of what I would call like an intimate situation.
Yeah.
We knew
Good for, like, a
100%
company-sized
we
element.
were going to go and kill some fucking Russians that day.
Hell yeah, dude. He sounds like, his accent sounds like northeast England. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. It's just kind of what I've picked up watching videos and stuff. All right.
Eventually, we did get the call on the radio that the operation was a go, conduct the assault. We mounted up and exited
Oh,
the
yeah,
tree
look at
line
that,
and started the drive towards the 105, 106 position. And driving the first vehicle,
Oh, I see
it
some
kind
Marine
of-
Marpet.
I could, in that moment, feel the weight of responsibility kind of weighing down on my shoulders, that
Dude, especially as
this
a
is
driver.
my first mission in Ukraine, and the guys are relying on me to not get us lost, to make sure that I take the right paths, and
For real.
that I don't veer off the proven route.
That's pressure, dude.
And so as soon as we departed and started heading, I could feel the anxiety start to build up, and then as we're making turn after turn,
Dude, even
turning
recalling
into
that
tree lines to cross over into a
must
new
be tough.
path, I could feel it build up, and as we're getting closer and closer,
Yeah, and they're hauling ass too. Pretty good visibility day as well, which helps and hurts. Of course, goes both ways. Golly, yeah, they're sending it. I mean, yeah, if they're bypassing positions, that's kind of how you have to do it.
What a day! What a lovely day!
The route
love the
there was
chatter
really
you
fucking
hear.
bumpy. Obviously, the closer we got to these positions, the more shell-pocked the ground was.
Yeah, no doubt.
Lots of debris everywhere. It was the closer you got to the position, the more it looked like you were driving into hell.
Oh, dude, look at that shot. That's crazy. Honestly, like the U.S. military, like I was never really a huge fan of the Humvee. I didn't have to use them that much, to be honest. Like as light infantry, we didn't really use them that much. But yeah, a lot of people kind of end up talking smack about them, mostly because like the maintenance sometimes isn't always the best in a certain unit. But like these Humvees are putting in some work in Ukraine. Like it's a huge game changer. I mean, having the ability to take 5 Humvees and just bypass these positions with like relative security is huge, as opposed to trying to maneuver. Like if you're trying to maneuver people, I mean, you're just going to be such a big target, much slower kind of movements, and then you have more to consider as far as like the landmines when you're moving that many people on foot. So it's just really is a game changer for this kind of terrain.
600 meters!
we made that final turn, the final
Oh,
turn
man.
to where from there it was essentially just a straight shot. And at that moment, it was
Interesting how they
shock.
marked it. Oh, dude, there it is.
This final stretch in front of me and how it looked nothing like what I remembered from the drone footage,
Oh,
and
no.
how badly the drone footage translated to what I actually saw in that final
Yeah.
turn. And that it was at that moment that it, you really clicked in and just started driving.
We had 3 drop-off locations.
Just get in the zone, man.
My Humvee, the rear Humvee, was going to
Badass.
stop at the beginning of the trench, the middle Humvee, the center in the corner, and then the front Humvee was going to land towards, stop towards the end of the trench past the L. So we're already taking RPG and mortar fire as we're rolling up to the trench.
Mortar too, damn. Dude.
Fine.
Oh, dude.
I remember
that
I was
fucking,
driving, just going
that was
focused,
scary.
completely focused, looking.
The
no
Humvees,
lines,
man.
No lines. And then our medic who sat behind me just started
tanking
yelling,
it.
"Stop, stop." And so
Oh,
I
shit.
just slammed the brakes.
Go!
Oh,
And
fuck, dude.
shortly after we came to a stop, I felt and heard an
Oh,
explosion behind
dude.
us. And then I couldn't see anything. Just dirt and smoke just covered our Humvee, and I had no idea what just happened.
And like right when they're getting to the end too. Oh my god, it's gotta be so terrifying. The shaky
I
hands
see
would
the
be
Humvee in front of
insane.
me just blow up in a cloud of smoke and dirt. I'm thinking, oh fuck, they've hit an AT mine.
Get out! Just round!
Fucking hell, dude.
Everyone in it came out okay, some light injuries,
Nice.
but they still survived and they still fought. We enter the trench
Bad-
after the
dude, that's
Humvee,
so
we start
badass.
fighting. We don't know it at this time.
Holy cow.
We're taking fire from the other trench where the Ukrainians are meant to be. It turns out that their Humvee drivers dropped them a few hundred meters short of the objective. So the poor buggers had to run a few hundred meters all the way to the trench and then start fighting.
What?
But in that time,
Okay, that sucks. I mean, I mean, running like 200 meters, whatever, that sounds like pretty simple. When you have kit and ammo, and especially like equipments like anti-tank weapons or what have you, that sucks ass. And then when you get there, I mean, you're already exhausted. You're already breathing super heavy because it's like combat, obviously. But like the fact that you have to run with all of this because obviously, you have a certain plan and you're trying to keep to that plan. And then, you have to run and then get into combat. Then that sucks.
Time that it took them to get there, the Russians were sort of thinking what the fuck is going on and started, firing at us, launching RPGs and shit. In my GoPro footage, I didn't notice it until recently, but you can see an RPG fly right across my head.
Oh my
top
gosh.
Of top of the screen.
Holy
but because
shit.
we were so fast and effective to get into the trench, as soon as we got into cover, they couldn't do anything.
Imagine seeing that footage afterwards.
I thought in the confusion that it was our Humvee that had been hit. I looked around, saw that all my guys were okay, but like I sort of realised we've got to get to the fucking trench at this point. So without the tactical bound, I kind of just moved forward.
Yeah, that's a tough area to just be chilling in as well. Gunner's doing a good job sending it.
Finian was there, Dodo was there.
Good aggression.
Zeus fell off the Humvee, and basically from that point it was just start the assault.
Fire.
So we pushed the assault from there. Basically, I yelled at the guys, "Get the fuck up, let's move." The third vehicle at that point was also dismounted. So their team leader Dave basically looked at me. I said, "Push, push." On our side, so they pushed their guys forward. I helped get our guys.
That
up
is some
and
violence
moving.
of action for sure.
At that point, the driver's weapon had gotten blown up in the Humvee. So I basically threw my rifle to Dodo, and from that point on, I just ran with grenades and a radio.
No shit.
On an assault. Not the brightest idea, but.
No shit. I mean, hopefully you can get a weapon, but that's wild to consider.
It's like, okay, everything seems fine. I think we're good. And then once I saw that the guys that were in the boot of my truck, as well as all the passengers had gotten out, they started getting online in front of me and conducting their bounding to get into the trench. That was my cue to go ahead and start leaving, because you can't sit there with the vehicles long. You have to get in, dump troops, and then get out as quickly as possible.
Golly.
Shortly after we left, I remember I was driving, I was looking for the path that I came in on so that I could ride the tracks back out. And I was going, focused, and then all of a sudden I just felt another explosion, and then the inside of the cab just filled with smoke. And
way, dude.
At that moment I was like, what did we just get hit by? So once we got to our staging point with the two Humvees, we started concealing the Humvees, and then I started talking to Shaggy, and trying to just kind of even in that moment where it just happened, you're already trying to look back and kind of talk about what just happened. And then that's where we could see that our Humvee, the turret, actually took a hit from an RPG.
Oh,
and you could see where it penetrated on the left side of the turret, but then went through, double penetrated the turret and detonated outside of it.
Oh man,
when we were looking at the turret.
That's lucky, but holy shit, it's a good thing there wasn't a gunner in there.
At what point we got hit, and the angle that it came from and the direction, it was about 450 meters to the next Russian trench. And so when I realized that, the only thing I could think about was,
it's a sniper.
These dudes came to play. I mean, hitting a moving Humvee from 450 meters with an RPG, an unguided rocket, it's not an easy shot to do.
450 meters with an RPG is insane, especially on a moving target, and especially like considering the terrain and whatnot, especially if you're like in a trench. I mean, at that point, you definitely know you're not messing around with, some dudes who are just pulled from a prison, or they just happen to be a beast at RPGs for whatever reason. Nice, dude.
Reloading!
I really understand why it's titled Violence of Action now. These guys
Let's go!
are doing a great job at that. Grabbing his magazine too.
My team dismounts, so does the other team. So we had Alpha and Bravo group.
Oh, there they go.
We both
Trenches
enter the
already.
trenches from different ends.
The trenches are so gnarly though. I mean, like, it's like barely a trench at all. It's almost just like a linear crater. And it's so hard to see like what the hell is like right in front of you, especially when it's so smoky and dry and stuff. Like having a grenade launcher would be great for this, just like softening up that area. Oh, dude.
Got to the edge of the trench.
That dude is just like, I'm gonna keep walking when there's a grenade right there.
Frags ready to chuck in.
Jeez.
To make entry into the trench. There was still a lot of confusion. Obviously, it was loud as fuck. Like guys are shouting. Yeah, it was just pure chaos at first. Lots of explosions going off, all that good shit.
I mean, the shouting is. Oh my god.
Frag the trench to there!
We've seen this clip already, and like, holy cow.
Moss, he's right there! He's right fucking there!
I'm surprised they didn't get him with that grenade like right before. Oh, he knows exactly where to place that frag.
Frag out! Go!
Oh my gosh, just getting into the trench right after that.
Hey! He's here on the left, be careful! He's here on the left, be careful! Where? Here, right here on
Managed to get into the trench. So
Oh my god, they're so close.
Corner.
Mossy's hit! Man down!
Fuck, dude.
Man down!
And my operation unfortunately ended like relatively quickly.
Ah, golly, man. I didn't know that was him talking. I'm glad he's okay though. I remember watching that clip before and I wasn't sure what happened afterward.
At first I thought I'd been blown up because everything just went fucking slow motion. Next thing I know, I'm looking down at my feet and then I feel myself topple back and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I thought in that moment that I was dead. There's a bit of a joke around the company that people say to me, am I dead? Because that was the first thing I asked after I'd been hit.
Mossy, stay where you are! You're not dead!
Oh my gosh. I mean, when you get hit, especially that close and whatnot,
After asking
out of
my
nowhere.
boys if I was dead and then answering no, I was like, yeah, this is fucked. I think I might be paralysed. And then after about 5 minutes, the pain started to kick in throughout my whole body.
Adrenaline.
So I was relieved to feel the pain, but it was pretty fucking bad pain. So, and I still couldn't move very well, but I could move. So I kind of realised in that moment I wasn't paralysed. All was not lost.
That's good, but the pain, I bet, wasn't great.
From about 20 metres away down the trench. He was sort of like Haji firing over the top of the trench. You've probably seen videos of how the Taliban do it in Afghanistan, how they lift the guns up and spray over the top of the trench. Yeah, that's how this dude got me. He was already injured, but he was fighting on. He wasn't giving up too easy.
Damn.
So he was putting bursts of ammo over the top of the trench. He also hit one of our dudes in the head, like very shortly after.
Dude.
Go back! Took a hit to the head. Mossy, stay still.
He luckily only grazed our friend's head, so didn't put him out of the game.
And it's so, like, you think that grenades will kind of like do everything for you, but with trenches, like,
went on
Especially
to
with all the
kill
turns.
that guy with a frag. You've probably seen it in the drone footage. He threw a frag down the trench. The guy leant over to pick it up and blew himself up.
That was a fucking insane
We
throw.
get into the trench and we start clearing it.
Holy shit.
Let's go, boys, we're good.
A bit of a, like a 20-meter length of trench. There's a little, not a bunker,
still got
but
the
it's
Humvee,
a
like,
spot
right
with
there.
overhead protection.
Get down, get down, get down!
I was second man in, behind the first man, right behind
Golly.
him, and he's trying to get into the little dugout, and he's struggling. And as he struggles, I'm looking forward with my weapon up, and I see this Russian's head pop around the corner, and
Fucking
I
hell.
say, "Oh fuck!" And me and my mate shoot him.
Weapon up, front!
Oh, right next to his buddy's head too. Fucking hell.
I'm good.
And then he disappears around the corner, so we don't know what happened to him at that point. So we do all of that, we push forward, and
Golly.
we hold security
Been
on the
shitting
front, and then
myself.
me and my other mate clear around the trench.
Get into that corner, push left, turn to see. That's friendly double.
Oh my gosh.
Over here. Frag out! Frag out! I'll get him. We dropped one.
Oh, that's such a shitty little position to be in too. Golly.
Ready?
That's gonna shake you up for sure. Holy cow. Definitely a good time to reload. It's good thinking.
I'm too fucking heavy.
This knee pad. Oh, that's another thing. With these like cry knee pads or whatever, like if you don't put the material over it, this happens. It's happened to me so many times. So it's nice when you can get the cloth to go over the pad itself. Oh my god, I'd rip that net out of my face. That'd be so annoying.
Who's with me?
Look at that. You can't even see. You can barely move.
Nothing's behind me. There's a short right here.
And there's turns.
You okay? Hold front, hold front.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm gonna start shooting casualty in here. Okay. Okay.
He's like, all right, I needed a breather. I'm good now.
Get to Jay! Where is he?
Get the what?
So that's clear there. We frag it, clear it. It's that side of the trench is clear, and then we push forward to where the bunker is. So we've reached our limit of advance, and now we're waiting for the other team. The
Nice,
dude that
okay.
we shot just then was laying dead face down in the trench. He had no weapon, no body armor, no helmet, because his weapon was right next to me when I shot him. There was a PKM there, and
Oh my gosh.
he wasn't quick enough to go get it. So unlucky for him, because we were already there. That's why it's so important to be quick in these situations.
Well, that's also like in the U.S. military, especially the Marine Corps, at least, like you're always like one arm's distance away from your weapon. Like that thing does not leave your sight pretty much. So that's something that we were taught, even like in a trench kind of setting. If you have a machine gun set up, that's kind of one thing, but generally you would still have like a rifle and whatnot as well. But yeah, that's very unfortunate for that dude. I know it's like a bad time to stop, but this is about halfway, so I'm gonna upload the second part tomorrow, because I know this part's already gonna be probably like 40 minutes long or something. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll try and upload it at like the same exact time and stuff, so you guys can see the part 2 for this.